Hey, Kate Mara, I saw your comment about Comic-Con saying, where you said on Kelly and Michael this, that no one cared, Kate Mara, no one cared Fantastic Four cast was at Comic-Con. And this is my Zinni62 blog, and you can actually scroll down and see the excerpt and then click through for more, right? Now, let me explain why that's not the case. For example, I care that you and Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller and Jamie Bell were at Comic-Con, and I was also part of the press crew that was down in a little pit there when you all came out to take your cast introductions and bows in Hall H. But back to my main point. In 2007, Megan Fox, star of Transformers, decided to walk through WonderCon, the smaller equivalent of Comic-Con ran by the same people, when it was in San Francisco. And save for a handful of people, she wasn't recognized. And even when those handful of people recognized her, there was no giant mob that followed her along afterward. And there's a reason for this. WonderCon and Comic-Con are really crowded. And not only that, people are there more to see people in cosplay. So if you were in, say, Fantastic Four cosplay, you would have been recognized for the cosplay first, and then your name and star and your celebrity status second. It's the nature of the beast there. Tyrese Gibson, for example, I walked right by him. Someone else said, "Hey, that's Tyrese." I turned around and said, "Oh, you're Tyrese, okay." But I had somewhere to go, and there was no mob around Tyrese. That was 4 years ago. I can go on and on and on. Bryan Cranston went with a minimal makeup, I think 2 years ago, like a mustache or something like that. Managed to go entirely through Comic-Con. No one recognized him. They had no idea Bryan Cranston was Bryan Cranston. And it's a safe bet that if Bryan Cranston went as Bryan Cranston without a mustache, or he may be recognized by a handful of people, but no mob would ensue. More mob would grow and follow him. Again, it's the nature of Comic-Con, because everyone is there to see different things, and unless you do something to draw their attention, you're not just going to get it walking around unless you're the President of the United States. Why do I say that? Because the President's face and name are in the world public eye millions of times a day on a daily basis. And that's the ultimate celebrity. So unless you built that celebrity, you're not going to get that kind of response. Now, this leads to the second part of my point regarding your comment. It has to do with the problem of how Hollywood public relations agencies do their work. We are in the year 2015, and yet there are a number of PR firms that do their work as if we could simply easily be in 1995 and the internet didn't exist. They still issue press releases. The press releases don't have a notation of what the Twitter handle should be, or the follower, or any links that they want you as a media person to help promote. There's no quid pro quo. In other words, hey, come to our event meeting the cast of Fantastic Four if you would send out this tweet, that tweet, or the other. What is it then based on? It's based on what brand the Hollywood PR company has heard of. So here's a test. Ask any PR representative you know if they can give you the number of tweets produced about you at Comic-Con, and then tell you what the reach and impressions for those tweets were. Ask them if they can tell you how many Google mentions there were of your name during Comic-Con, or this week for Fantastic Four, for that matter. Ask them if they can tell you how much total content was produced about you and who the top content producers were. And I say that because I bet credits to Navy Beans that the people you talk to couldn't do it. And yet they're the same people that determine who gets in to cover you and who helps promote you, and they are all the same people that design promotional programs for what you're doing, for the platforms, for the movies. and other type forms of entertainment that you star in. And that should be of great concern to you. Because what happens, and I'm complaining, a person like me is routinely ignored by PR companies that represent studios like the one that made Fantastic Four, or I should say, let's say the ones. But, and by contrast, if I, which I did do, fill out a press credential for the Democratic National Convention, I am asked, how many posts do you make? How long have you made posts regarding Democratic politics? Same is true for the press credential for Comic-Con itself. They ask the same questions. But when it comes to the Hollywood PR person, it's like metrics and the new media don't exist, let alone the internet. And that impacts you. So all of that combines together to produce you're being able to walk out around the people of Comic-Con and not be recognized at all. Had such a strategy been in place, and you would have been taught to be a bit more, and I don't mean to say this the wrong way, we explain this another way. You would have been a bit more, you would have been able to be in a campaign which says, okay, if I'm going to walk in and have a coffee, let's send a tweet that we're here. Because you would know that we have to ignite people to want to recognize you. Or it would have been easier to ignite people to recognize you because you already had seeded the internet strategically with enough content to cause that kind of reaction. The question is, how much content does that take? And to be blunt, you'd have to hire me for me to tell you. Good luck. I can't wait for Fantastic Four. And the good news is that according to Rotten Tomatoes, 97% of the people surveyed out of 116,000 responses are looking forward to seeing the Fantastic Four. And there's no verdict yet on the movie, so don't listen to the critics. Just wait. Just wait.